She Slayers, and welcome to another episode of She Slays the Day podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauryn Brunswick. And let's see, I believe this is the first episode since I got back from the Kajabi conference. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I was at a conference. It was very fun. Learned a lot of stuff. And I don't know, if you're into the world of maybe making a membership for your patients or creating a course, I think that would be a good conference for you to go to. It's always interesting going to non-chiro conferences too, just because you get all these, this whole like pool of different ideas about like the way the world thinks about business. And it's just always like refreshing to like put different things through a lens into our world. Also, I don't know, maybe you've never had this thought, but like I'm reminded when I'm around other businesses and that are kind of open about how much money they're making. So I had this experience when I was a part of a local leadership group, and they somehow it was coming out like they were hiring, and basically they were hiring college kids to do, I mean, this is like manual labor, like machinist welding, like, and we'll train them and we'll do this and all this stuff. And it was like starting out at like $80,000 a year. And I was like, snap, no debt and like, and you know, benefits and this and that. And I'm like, wow, there is like money to be made out there. And then at this conference, we heard from some dude who's making like over $1 million a year selling dog training videos. And I'm like, damn, Gina, like, wow. Okay. So I don't know. It's just one of those like, good thing we love chiropractic, because Lord knows apparently there are lots of easier ways to make some bank out there. So anyway, the reason that I brought up Kajabi is because when I was there, there's all these like very empowered women. Today I have on one of my friends who is such an empowering woman. And so lots of women at these conferences were wearing bodysuits, or not bodysuits. What are they called? Like onesies. No, I'm still calling it the wrong thing, because bodysuits and onesies are back in. I own like 7 of them. They're fantastic. But you do have to do the like snap, like the really awkward, there's no cute way to put it on. Men, I'm not going to explain this for you. I'm talking about like a jumper. Yes, like a one-piece jumper, like pants attached to a top. And so when I think of Courtney Gowen, who's on today, she has this fantastic red, what are we calling it? A jumper? Yes, a jumper that she wears when she speaks. And there were multiple speakers at the conference wearing this. And like you look at these women at these conferences and you're like, man, they have their life together. Like if I just had their confidence. But I want you to know that all of those women, when they go to the bathroom, have to get completely naked in the stall. Okay. Every woman knows exactly what I'm talking about. So when you are comparing yourself to these women and putting them on stages, I just want you to remember they have this really embarrassing moment in a public bathroom after they've spoken on a stage where they are sitting in a stall butt ass naked while they pee, because that's how jumpers work. Men, I'm not going to have to explain this to you. This reminds me that I bought this really cute golf jumper to wear while golfing, right? And I'm somebody who has no problem just like walking into the woods and peeing when I'm golfing if there's not a porta potty. Well, I have worn this golf jumper one time because you can connect the dots of this story. I walk into the woods and realize that this is more complicated to pee in the woods now that I'm wearing this one piece than just pulling down my shorts. I am getting pretty much butt ass naked now on the 3rd hole over in the woods. So I only wore it once. So it's for sale if anybody wants to buy it. Okay, so what updates do I have for you? Oh, this week, over on Patreon, we are going to be talking about how to get entire families under care. I do have a little bit of an announcement when it comes to the Patreon. I don't want anybody to freak out. Kirby's going to be so mad that I am announcing this because I wasn't planning on it. But this is actually going to be the final year of the Patreon as it is. So there's 3 levels of the Patreon. The top level is that $24.99 level. And we laid out this year where every month there's a live call where we're going to be talking about a topic that you basically need to know for your first year in practice. I get a lot of questions from startups. And so I said, here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. I laid out 12 topics. We're going to go through. If you have questions, you can show up live, ask me. But I laid out the 12 most essential pillars of starting a practice that first year. So what we're going to do after this year, after we've gone through all 12 pillars, is we are going to reframe what we're doing with Patreon. But those 12 topics are going to be bundled into a course that you'd have to buy later. Can you tell that I just went to a Kajabi conference? Yeah. All right. Follow the stream of thought, people. But anyways, so if you don't want to have to buy the course later, my point is join Patreon now for $24.99 a month. This way you get live access to me, and it's going to end up being cheaper than later when you buy the course. So just if you are one of the people who is privileged, because I'm not going to announce this on Instagram or anything like that. So if you listen to the podcast, you are getting the 411 instead of everyone else. So lucky you. So go ahead and join Patreon if you are going into your first year of practice or are in your first year or two of practice, because we are talking about some awesome topics over there that would be helpful. All right. So my guest, Dr. Courtney Gowen. This is not her first time on the podcast. And I think I say in our interview, it's going to seem like, well, I don't want to discourage you from listening because it's a really good episode, but I don't normally bring people on and just talk about their product the whole time. But Courtney's a friend and she created a product that I was fascinated about. She's going to tell you about it, but she does retreats. And so through her story of mistakes and successes in retreats, she created Wanderlearn, which is not a chiropractic business, but although if you're a chiropractor, you can do it. It's for people who want to throw a retreat and make money from their audience on retreats. And honestly, I'm just fascinated by this topic. I love people starting businesses. Legit yesterday, if I had the bandwidth, oh my God, and a workforce of 16-year-olds, I think that would be necessary for this to work. But I was talking to patients yesterday, and so this is my 13th summer in practice. And summer used to be an easier time for parents to start care for their kids. Like that was the thing that we heard is parents would say, and I don't know, maybe your guys' communities are completely different than mine. I doubt it. But it used to be summer, June was perfect. We had all of these parents locked and loaded. As soon as school is out, we are going to start because we know that our kid is going to need 3 times a week for 3 months or more. And this way they'll be ready for the school year. And parents had extra time in the summer. Now we have like the complete opposite happening. We have parents going like, we will have time for that once the summer is over. We have so many activities and camps and things planned for this summer that once the school year starts, and like, don't get me started, believe me, that's not an ideal time for a kid to start September, but like, it's just bizarre. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh, my business that I was trying to start yesterday with patients. So patients are talking about, so like it was the first full day of summer in our area. And parents are talking about how they have 3 kids going to 3 separate camps. And I was like, you know what we need? We need like Uber to mash up with care.com and create a kid delivery system. So, like, obviously, all of our drivers would go through much more extensive background checks, and like there'd probably be cameras in the car and like GPS monitoring and stuff like that. There'd be an app. There would for sure be an app so you could watch your kid in somebody's car getting driven to their basketball camp at 9 a.m. and then picked up at 12:30 and delivered back home. There'd be like, yeah, it'd be a great app. But yeah, wouldn't that be great? We have so I mean, I I already kind of tried this out. What's it called when you like poll? I already polled this on many parents yesterday while I was adjusting them. My table talk is horseshit, in case you're wondering. Like, Lauren, what do you talk to your patients about to get them to understand the the gravidance of subluxation? Well, I talk to them about my newest business venture and say, would you like to be an investor in this? So I don't think it's going to happen. But and it's not trademarked yet. But if anybody has the bandwidth and the labor force and the technology experience, I would like to invest. I would like to become a partner in this idea that you stole from me. So, where are we going? Courtney. Yes. Courtney started a business. She's my friend. I like her business. She's on. She's going to tell you all about it. I would read you her bio, but she's a jerk. And the part where she was supposed to put her bio, it literally says, give me 4 to 5 sentences. She wrote Wanderlearn in all caps with 4 exclamation marks. So apparently, the friend Courtney Gowen, Dr. Courtney Gowen, chiropractor, speaker, so many talents, needs no introduction. And she's here to talk to you about a cool thing that maybe will work for you. If you have an audience, I don't know, if you're a chiropractor, not chiropractor, you could do something like this. So let's take a breath. Let's breathe. Find our center. Where are you at in life? You crazy? Did you have too much caffeine today? Dear God, thank you so much for the inspiration and ideas that are all around us, for the energy that is tapped and connected. It can only be connected to this deeper source, this source of the universe that is when we are so in alignment with the next steps of our life. No, that has to be this supernatural energy that comes from this place of love and enlightenment and service when we are truly stepping into our soul's purpose. There is just this energy. So, for those that are tapping into that and everything just seems to line up, shed light on those next steps. I know we want the full path to be lighted before we take action, but just shed light and continue sending energy into those people when they are in alignment. And for those that, because we're not always in alignment, we're not always full of energy every single day. So for those that are maybe confused and not feeling like they're full of energy and things are lining up in life, be with them too and let them know. Give them that knowing in their gut or in their heart or in their head, wherever they need to feel it, that this is a time where they're supposed to be resting, where they're supposed to be recovering, where they're supposed to be fueling their brain, fueling the relationships, and that energy and that ideas, all of that, that's coming. And that's not every day of every life. And so just to be patient in that time for them as well. There's nothing wrong with that either. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, without further ado, here is my conversation with Dr. Courtney Gowen on her exciting new venture, Wanderlearn. So, what was I going to ask you? What have you been up to this year besides starting businesses?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I started this January. Last year, I did 12 speaking engagements just around the country, and it was bananas. It was like on a
You were
plane.
a lot. You were a lot. Like, I feel like you and Elise Rigney, every time I go on Instagram, I'm like, these people have incredible adventures of lives. I would be so tired.
Really does. She's amazing. But so I started January 1st this year. I was like, I'm not going to travel. I think I have like 3 gigs lined up and I just in 2 retreats and that's it. And then it's just been wild, just opportunity, like invitation, going, traveling, looking at venues. And then I started Wanderlearn. I launched that last week, and that was like a huge, exciting, big, scary goal of mine. And then,
Since January.
huh?
So, like, did you have any and we'll obviously talk about it and explain, but people, they'll catch
Yeah.
up. Had you not thought about it prior to January?
No, no, I got, it was like a divine download in March. And I was like, wait,
March
this
of
is what I
this
need to.
year?
Yeah.
Like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
God. I
Yeah.
This is why we're friends, by the way.
Uh,
Like, I was just talking to Kirby about how cool my friends are. So, like, because I was telling him, I'm like, you got to look at this like thing that Courtney's doing, like such a cool idea, such a need. And then then I was like doing an interview with Devin for the 33 principles thing she was doing. And I was just like, and Elise is like doing some, I'm like, I have such cool friends that are doing such cool stuff. Like, but I just love like moving and shaking and making shit happen fast.
yeah. 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 Once you like get it and it's really, really divine, you're like, I'm in. Like it is like I get obsessed with it and I crank it out and I'm like, yes. Like I think that's how you know it's like naturally right, is because you commit to it and it's just that's all I want to do is
You
work
get
on
the
it.
energy first. You are waking up early to work on it. And like you said, like that divine timing, it's just that,
Mhm.
like, air quotes, everything fell into place super easily. People were calling me. And it's like, yep, that's when you know. That's when you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the divine download, like where this came from. I have so many questions.
So many questions. Last time we had like a raw and real interview about my divorce and like falling apart and all of that fantastic things.
Yeah,
And
episode 132. We just looked it up. Go back, listen to it.
and the adventure of my healing. And a huge part of my healing was I would go down to Mexico and I would go to the beach in Tulum and I would do yoga, I would move my body, eat organic, go through sweat lodges, do everything I could to like physically, mentally, and spiritually heal my body. And it really, really did work. I came back every time a little bit more healed, a little bit more connected, a better mother, a better chiropractor, a better business owner, more focused. And so I kind of put it out there. I was like, would anybody want to go on a wellness retreat in Tulum? And I kind of threw it out there, and about 25 people signed up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, what if we do this in Costa Rica? And I like threw Costa Rica out there, and I was like, but what if you do CEs and it's a business write off and a vacation and a time to like step back and heal yourself with other like minded chiropractors? And that one we sold out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is a thing. And so I did another wellness retreat in Tulum and sold out. And then Costa Rica again, it sold out. And I was like, okay, I think this is a thing that I really, really like to do. I love travel, I love chiropractic, I love education, and that brings it all together. And so, take it one step further, I start getting calls from people asking, hey, how did you do this? How did you add retreat? What is like, how, like, and so it clicked for me. I've been teaching yoga in the Caribbean for 12 years. And to negotiate a property or to find a property and things like that is like, I was like, oh, you can't do that in like 10 minutes. Like that was like, I could do it in my sleep. It was so easy. But I was like, oh, people don't know how to do this. And it is a lot of work, like to build
Well,
out and
yeah,
negotiate,
it's
but
stressful. That's what I was gonna ask is like, weren't
stressful.
you weren't you like really stressed?
In the beginning, yes. And I lost money on the first two because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, it was just like an idea, threw it out there. I was just excited people signed up. I was like, all right, cool. But then I started to realize like there is a formula that I created on how to do this and how to sell it out. And so I kind of like perfected this little formula. And then I created a company called Wanderlearn. And what Wanderlearn does is it plans everything A to Z. And so it's for like successful business owners that want to add retreats to their businesses, but they have no idea where to start and they don't want to hire a whole team to do this. And so I've hired a team. And
So
what we
you have
do is
people, this isn't just all you?
yes, yeah, literally, I've hired a
God, you
team
have a lot
and
of skin in the
it's
game. You're
that's
making
how
me
fast
nervous.
it's
You're making me
been.
nervous. I I didn't hire my first CA until I was seeing like 50 people a week. And you're just like, boom, we are going for it. Fuck.
Yeah, because I saw the need. Like once I kind of soft launched, it was at seminar, just like chatting with people about this. I'm planning in 9 different countries right now. That's how quickly it's taken off. It's because it's zero upfront cost for the person that's hosting. And all like I have 3 calls like this with them. I get into their mind and then we take it and we plan it. And all you do is you show up, free vacation, you make $10,000 in a weekend and you get to share your calling or teach what you want to teach. And we certify the CEs, like we do
How,
everything.
how is there zero cost to the person doing the retreat?
So we upfront, if the only cost to us upfront for a host is to pay the deposit on the resort. And
Okay.
that's anything like $1,800 to $5,000. And
Yeah.
so that's why I only work with people that can fill retreats. I'm like, hey, there's a whole process. We send a survey, we
How
check
do you
engagement.
how do you know if okay, so tell me, how do you know if somebody's gonna fill a retreat? So I have so much anxiety that I would throw a retreat and nobody would come. Like,
See, that was my thing too. So I was like, okay, so I've
this is
systemized
gonna be me in Tulum with my Mai Tai being like, well, nobody came. This sucks.
stuff. Everybody would come to your retreat. No, there's a system. So through the system, as we send a survey for you to send out. So another part of our service is we send you email marketing, social media that's branded towards you. We build your landing page, your marketing pages, and you get hosted on our platform. But the first step is for you to send a survey. It's called an engagement survey that says, hey, we're thinking about hosting a retreat in Tulum. We would love your input. Lucky survey participant gets $500 off their retreat. So it entices them to have high engagement. And I got a survey back from people I'm hosting for in Italy, and they had 500 people say yes to their retreat on this survey. And I was like, okay, I think we can bring 20. I think we're good.
Oh.
So
So it's just
it's
like a would you be interested type of thing
yeah. And that's
before.
the first thing, the seed of marketing for
Mhm.
their retreat. It's the survey. And it kind of like gathers information, but we also ask like what country, what time of year, what's your price point, would you share a room, what activities are you interested in? And
In the
then we
survey
build a
to
retreat
the people.
following.
Okay.
Huh?
In the
Yeah.
survey to the people.
Yeah.
Normal. Okay. So like, I feel like I should say that this is not a paid, like this is not a paid ad. I just am really into this idea and questions. Normally I don't like jump in of like, tell me all the details of your business. I'm just like, this
Yeah.
is cool. Like,
It's
I just,
cool, right? It makes
it's
me
a
so
really,
excited because business that makes other businesses money. And a
yeah.
free vacation and a travel, because you know what the number one problem is, Lauren, is we as women and business owners, we're stressed the fuck out and we cannot like have a family, we can't have a marriage, we can't have all these things because we cannot step away from our practices. If I say, hey, step away, have a vacation and make $10,000 and close your practice for 2 days, would you do it? Yes, and you would be more connected and you would be happier. And so if I can expand my reach to people that are stressed out and want to add this, but don't have the capacity to like
Mhm.
host or
You're
to
helping
do
people have
this,
a side hustle.
then I'm helping them. Yes, yes,
Mm.
exactly.
So do you picture Kairos? I mean, obviously this is not just a Kairos, but like my audience is almost
Yeah.
exclusively Kairos. Do you picture Kairos doing this for like their patients? Or is this more, do you think Kairos that have other Kairos or small business people following them? I
Yeah. So
would,
it's
oh my
both.
God, going on a retreat with my patients, that might be my personal hell. Like, I love my patients, but like, I just would be so emotionally exhausted. Be like, no, I can't do it.
So
Um,
yeah, on ours, we have 4 or 5 patients. We're about to go to Costa Rica in like 2 weeks. And we have like 4 or 5 patients that are coming on that one.
I could handle
But
that.
and I,
I could handle a couple.
yeah, we can handle that. And then I have some chiropractors in Utah that are hosting one in Costa Rica. And it's for their patients, they're following, they have like a movement class they teach, dance classes they teach up in Utah. So it's like for people that kind of follow them. And that is
Do you help
patients
put the
include.
agenda together?
Yeah, we do we curate everything. And also, what I've also realized is amazing if I signed a contract with a big laser company and we're planning 4 retreats a year for them. And so it's like for big companies too, who like are, man, they're not to the point where they can have a seminar retreat team. So we've kind of come in and we're doing that, but we're also offering and certifying their CEs. And so like this company is
This
offering
is a
retreats that are,
big thing you took on
I know.
in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Have you seen
It's crazy.
that, on Reels, the, like, Michael Scott audio that's like, "This is a dream that I have had since this morning, and I will not give it up." Okay.
It's
Okay, so I have
it's
2, like, pathways that I wanna go. I wrote down the note for the first one. So,
okay.
how and I want honest answer here.
Yeah. Okay.
How in my experience, when I have launched a completely non-Blue Hills chiropractic baby,
Yeah.
there is like my team has gotten used to it, but like what kind of things have you done right and wrong right now? Like, cause it's happening. It's not like we're looking back a year ago when you started Wanderlearn. Like, because this is a thing for CEOs when if you have this like mindset of like multi-passionate, I'm going to do the side hustle, you can accidentally really fuck up your team
Oh,
emotionally by being like
yeah.
you're not here, you're not engaged. So, can you talk about like what you've done right, what you've done wrong in this process with your team?
Yeah, and I think that was like I hired a business coach 3 years ago, I guess. And she like had some like real words for me because I've always been this kind of like dreamer, wanderlusty, like fun, like all over the world kind of person. And she was like, "No wonder your team has fall apart. You've been gallivanting around the world for the past 6 months." She was like, "You have to like be
A good
committed and
coach.
focus and put in systems and put in procedures and realize like, hey, this is like your foundation as your team." And she was like, you have to systematize that. You have to have clear communication. You have to reward them. And so that was a big thing that I've really been focused on the past like 2.5 years is building in these systems and clearly communicating with them. Hey, like I want to be in the office like 1 to 2 days a week and truly like be running these other businesses and things like that. And I want you involved in them. So our whole team's going to Costa Rica. And like I want to like reward them with trips, with fun things and things like that, that let them see my vision. And once they kind of jump into that vision and they get to feel it, see it, and experience it, I think that they do get really excited. And my other associate, she's amazing. She's like, yeah, perfect. She was like, the more you're gone, the more like patients I see, the more money I make. So it's like a really good, I think, back end that we've set up. And it's honestly just like a God given team. I feel like those girls that I have are just amazing and phenomenal. So it's like people who really believe in you is something I've never really had. But this team is like a team that truly, truly believes in what I'm doing and where I'm going. And it's amazing because I've had both, like I've fallen apart, I've lost a lot. And then I've been able to like really understand what I need and to bring that in
Yeah.
to like build a solid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was talking, I don't know who I was talking to. I think it was at our course live event, and we were talking about, and Kirby and I were saying like, so we bought this Airbnb last summer,
Yeah.
and I don't think we did a good job. Well, because it all happened super fast. Like I think we just released an episode on our story of the Airbnb, and it happened fast. There was no way I could have planned to be a good leader in that process because of our timeline of turnaround. And so we were done with the Airbnb in like October, and we started creating the course in October. Well, there was even a little overlap. Like, so we had a team that was kind of being honest, some of our people that had been around for a while being like, this didn't feel good. I
Mm,
have a lot of concerns about
yeah.
if we continue like with you. And so we had to be really honest with our team of like, we did a bad job. We did a bad job. We didn't, I wasn't here when I was here, and like just fully lay it out on the table of like, this is where I think we really messed up. I was going to say screwed the pooch, but that is a terrible colloquialism. Why does that exist? Like, it's really funny that my brain was like inserting the words that were going to come next. And like some other part of my brain was like, oh, don't say that. Like, God. I think there's another one that I used to say in practice. Is it like there's more than one way to skin a cat or something like that?
Oh,
Isn't
that
like
sounds like my West Texas blood. Yeah.
that's fucked up? Like that.
It is.
No, don't say that. Um, I don't know where I was going. Oh, anyway, so like we just fully had said like, here's where we think that we should have been better. Open for feedback. Is there anywhere else? And then laid out like, okay, and this is the crucial part. I feel like if you have a brain that works like yours, mine, where it's like, oh, there's going to be a next time. This is not a, I'm so sorry, I did that wrong. I'll never step away from this clinic again and start something else. Like, no, 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 no. This is who I am.
This is
And
our
and I try and in the best way remind my team that if I didn't release that energy into these other things, oh my God, they would hate working for me. All of
100.
that would be
Yeah.
like, and so it's gently reminding them that like, this is who I am. And I view my role in your life as making you the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. But next time, this is how I'm going to fix what I did wrong last time. This is how I'm going to, so they could be, because if you've messed it up in the past, like it's hard for your team to give you their blessing. They're like, okay, cool. So we're just like, again, another terrible one, the redheaded stepchild. My God, these
No.
people are terrible. They're
Yeah, I
terrible.
think that's why I hired a team so quickly is because over the past 10 years in business, I never delegated anything. Like I'm so in control. Like I never thought anybody else could do it as good as I did. And so it was so hard for me to like let things in the office and let it go and like delegate to other people. But there's an art form to that, that once I started doing that, I started to realize how much it opened up my mind to creativity, how much more clear I got, how much more time that I had. And so that's why I just kind of dove right in and I was like, all right, we're hiring somebody. We're going to go, like, they're going to help me do all these things on the back end for Wanderlearn, but it also still gives me the ability to like be very present with my team and things like that. So I think that was like a big lesson I learned from business to business of like, okay, like, yeah, I need help and I'm actually going to like believe in myself and hire somebody and get this going and do it well.
Can we talk about time management? So like I feel
Yeah.
like you've got multiple businesses that you're running.
Mhm.
And how do you sort through the time? Like how do you keep, because I found like being in clinic, and I'm assuming you would agree here, like when you're in clinic, you're in clinic.
You're
Um,
in. Yeah.
you're
Like you're
not,
not
and you might be adjusting and
nonstop.
dealing with CEO issues, but it's like on that business. So how do you organize your time and your head when you're juggling multiple businesses?
So I have like passion days and then clinic days. And so I should probably say CEO days. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm in the clinic adjusting. And that's why I told my team, I'm like, I have a goal to be in just 1 to 2 days. And so we're like working on scaling that and rearranging that. And then the other 2 days, like today and then Thursday, I will go and I have a few calls, few meetings, and then just work on building the website, work on building everything. One thing I will tell you that I start like have really, really helped my productivity and time management was this past probably 3 months. I've stopped drinking. I've been working out twice a day. I've been like super, like really, really focused with like diet stuff, clarity. And I will say, like, that has really transformed my productivity and time blocking and things like that because I'm really like, I was like, if I want to do this and do it well, I have to be well. And so that was something I was like, I really got committed to like my health and like really pouring into that. Like last night, I was like, I just want to go work. Like we saw so many patients, got off at 6, and I was like, I just want to go work on my computer, get these emails done, like build out the sales page, da da da. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go run and I'm gonna go meet with my trainer and I'm gonna lift. And that was like so much better for my mental health because I know, and I know that a lot of us like this, that we will just work ourselves to the bone and we won't spend time like taking care of ourselves. And so a friend, he was like, hey, like you're going to build all these things, but you're not going to be healthy enough to enjoy them because you've been stressed, you've been like not working out, you start like you're drinking, all these things. And I was like, whoa, you're right. Like I want to be able to build something that I can enjoy and like brings me life. And so that's been a big thing of just like sleeping well, moving well, eating well. And then just like taking those 2 solid days that I'm not in the practice and then using them as that. And then with the 50-50 custody of our kids, like that has given me a lot of freedom to have quality time with them instead of the quantity time. And so those mom days, like I'm with mom, like my kids all day, and then I put them to bed around 7 and then work from like 7 to midnight and then
7 to
just work through
midnight?
that. Sometimes,
You a
yeah.
night owl?
But it's a startup phase. Like it's really, really like this is like a true startup company and platform.
Yeah.
So it's been some long nights.
Yeah, and it's been 2 months. I cannot
Yeah.
it just blows my mind that you created this in 2 months. Like, that's insane and so cool. And so well done. Have you always been like, because 'cause I'm assuming you do all of the design?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I designed the website, I designed the logos, the verbiage. Like, thank God for ChatGPT. Like,
Oh my god.
literally, the only reason I'm able to do this is because of ChatGPT. It's like sales page done, website done, da, 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 da. Like, it's literally like the biggest. That's who I've hired.
Yeah.
I feel like they're another person on my team.
I know. I'm so mad because we were building out the sales page for the course last September and like there wasn't
Oh, yeah.
ChatGPT. So like, yes, it was just so like, how do I make these 3 paragraphs better and describe? Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh. It's so good. So, yeah, but.
Hey, She Slayers, I have partnered with Well Aligned and Above Down Apparel to give all of my listeners something really special. So listen up, don't skip. A free premium t-shirt. Okay, you get a free t-shirt. So just head over to wellaligned.com/she slays to claim your listener offer. That's all you got to do. Above Down has the coolest and most comfy chiropractic tees that showcase your personality. My favorite is the Mabel. I love it. They're super soft and a great conversation starter if you do seek conversation with, your patients. We call it table talk. What more can you ask for? So I've also been using well-aligned materials for years to educate my patients. They have high-quality ROF folders, patient handouts, office forms, posters, and a ton more. So why recreate the wheel when there's a perfectly designed communication tool ready for you to help educate and inform? Head over to wellaligned.com/she slays to claim your free t-shirt. And I'll drop a link in the show notes so you can check it out. Hey, She Slayers. I just wanted to take a moment to ask you, have you heard of PX? I don't know. Have I mentioned them before? So they're practically everywhere these days. And I am so excited to have them as a sponsor on our show because they are on a mission that I can seriously get behind. So Dr. Tony and his team have designed a pediatric, prenatal, and family chiropractic training program that has online and live event training opportunities to learn step by step the science, clinical protocols, and business systems behind building a thriving pediatric and family chiropractic practice. Now, here's what's extra cool. It doesn't matter if you're a student, startup, or practicing chiropractor. I mean, I am a member and I've been in practice for over 12 years now. Each and every bit of their training is applicable to you and where you're at. I've been a part of PX for a while now, and I can say that there's no one better in the space to lead you and to lead this profession than Dr. Tony and his team. If you want to take your practice to the next level in serving more kiddos and families in your community, then you must check out PX. I will drop a link in the show notes so you can head over to thepediatricexperience.com and let them know She Slays the Podcast sent you there for a special little bonus. I'd like to take a moment to thank one of our primary sponsors of the podcast, Insight CLA. The Insight tech moves the message off the spine and into the nervous system, where the magic of the adjustments can be measured and tracked. Everyone from newborns to seniors are being scanned in my practice and in thousands of other practices like ours, so they can be examined and inspired to choose chiropractic care. It's like an instant referral machine because the scans are so visible and informative. Like, what patient wouldn't want to know how their nervous system is performing? The staff at CLA are ready to take care of you and answer any questions you may have. They also have an incredible online academy that can help train everyone in the office and help them to feel confident on how to get perfect scans and how to interpret the results. We have been using the Insight technology in our clinics for over 7 years now, and it is a complete game changer for conversion, retention, and patient education. Click the link below in the show notes as She Slays listeners get preferred pricing and hundreds of dollars off their purchase. Okay, so one of the things that I don't know if you said the word dabble, but like rewind 20 minutes ago, you were talking about how you just started said like, well, maybe I'll try one of these in Tulum, and people came. And then you were like, well, maybe I'll try one of these in Costa Rica, and people came. And it reminds me of something that I heard Jake Granacher say a while ago. He was talking about how it's okay to dabble in some of these like heart hustles. It's okay if it's like, I don't know that like this is gonna be like this 6-figure side hustle that's gonna like because like Kairos, we don't you get out of school and like maybe you associate, but like if you've started a business, you don't dabble. It is like,
You
okay,
go.
you go, who like
Yeah.
burn the boats. This has to
Yeah.
work. And, some of what he was saying to some Kairos was like, it's okay to kind of play a little bit with some of these. And so like, I can see somebody looking at you and being, and we're talking about like, oh, you did this in 2 months. This has been 3 years
Of
of,
course.
of that. But like, do you feel like you dabbled in this before and like that was what allowed you the strength to like
Oh,
launch?
you know why I literally did this? And then it's kind of funny. Because I was going through divorce, had lawyer bills, and I was like, shoot, I have to pay for this divorce somehow. Like I was really stressed about it. And then I was like, well, let me throw a seminar. I know I can bring people together. I know I can do these things. And so I was like, there's a seminar coming up for chiropractors and prenatal. I threw it out there. And then that seminar paid for my divorce. And I was like, praise Jesus. Like it was just like a huge blessing to me. And I was like, wait, okay, I can host seminars. Okay, I think I can do retreats. I can do all these things. And so it was like a kind of a need to start something to like truly, it was like almost a time of like, I have to do something. Like I have to do like it was just like a really interesting space to be in. Yeah, I did dabbled in like the retreats were definitely a dabble. And I was like, man, if I can do like 2 retreats a year, I'd be like a good like little side hustle and things like that. And it was like truly a side
What's
hustle.
happening with Barefoot Mama?
So
Because
that you know that Taylor Swift song, like the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. She said like that's what's happening to Barefoot Mama.
well, no, so like, and I love how this is why we get along, because we're both just like, oh yeah. I started I started the podcast with like no idea where this is going. And like I look back over the last, I think we're coming up on 4 years now. And it's like these little like, oh yeah, remember when I was gonna like be so training social media to chiropractors and I was like, no,
Oh,
no,
that's not me.
I don't want to do that. But
Yeah.
I feel like so I you seem impatient like me, like right. And so I feel like if you're an impatient person, like God is like, yes, I'm working on something. Like you can feel in your heart, like there's something that I'm going to create or do. Maybe create's not like, not in a literal, tangible sense. And God's like, yes, there is more for you and it's coming. And you're like coming next month. And he's like, I don't, you just need time. And so we're over here like, I think maybe this is it. And then God's like, that wasn't it. And you're like, that wasn't it. You're right. But there's so many lessons that are learned in that process. Do you think that you learned from like that? And I don't want to call them failures, because they're not at all. They're just
No,
like,
yeah. It's evolution. Like it's literally like an evolution of yourself. Cause I feel like every business is such like a soul expression of who I am. Like I think it's just like I've evolved. Like that's not my brand anymore. That's not who I want to be anymore. Like I love flowy dresses, but I also like my like bright red jumpsuit with heels. Like it's just like you've really evolved into stepping into who you are in this season. And then that's who I want to be. And it's okay to let the other thing go. It's be like, okay, that's who I was. I'm really thankful for it. I learned so much in creating that business and that online, like that whole like thing that I did for the online platform for Barefoot Mama. But like this just feels so congruent with like every cell in my entire
yeah,
body. I'm like, is me like my soul project. Like it's finally like God was like, pull back the curtains, like,
mhm,
here's the purpose of pain. Here's why you went through this. And so you can help and heal other people, but also bless your life.
yeah, yeah. It is interesting when you like stumble into it and you're like, oh, this is it.
Oh, this
This
is
is
it.
it.
Yeah.
Do you think if you wouldn't have gone down some other pathways before this, you could have come to this conclusion or this manifestation if you would have
Um,
just been like sitting and waiting?
no, I feel like, well, I know I had to go through the trauma. I had to go through like the pain and things like that to be able to like really fully what's the word I'm looking for, like dive into this but also be so passionate about it, is because served a really really special purpose for me in my life. Would I have to go through like the barefoot stuff, the seminar stuff? I think it gave me a really good experience and like a really good idea of what and how to do outside your practice and how to do things like that. So yeah, I feel like I don't know. That's a really interesting question. Maybe I would have gotten there, maybe not. But I'm glad I had to take this path of getting here because
Mhm.
it taught me a lot and it showed me like I made mistakes with the barefoot brand. I did all like I just like you're young and trying to figure things out, and then you pull it together and you're like, oh, okay, this is how I want to do things.
Well, you're testing. You're
Yeah.
like, I am someone that needs to react to something. I think it's
Yeah.
part of my human side. I don't know. Um, where like I don't think I would have been able to get to the same conclusion without trying different things because I have to respond to data of some sort. Like, and that makes me sound a lot more analytical than I am because I'm not at all. I'm so gut led. But like I have to go like, okay, this is why that wasn't as successful as I wanted, or this is why, or like, I'm done with that. I tried it on. Without trying something on, I don't know that I would come to as strong of a gut decision moving forward and being like, that's cool. I tried it. So, what are you going to speak about on stages now?
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. I just launched my first like new talk it was like a couple weeks ago in Nashville, and it was really scary, and that was like the how I started my talk. I was like, this is very scary for me because this is a new topic. And I just put it together and I put it out there and I was so nervous and it was really well received. but it was teaching chiropractors how to maximize their impact. And so I walked through a lot of like prenatal and pediatric and things that we do in our office, but I taught protocols because there's so much power in protocols. And then I went into talking about how to, because I have a nonprofit, how to start a nonprofit, how to write a book, how to get a book published, how to get on TV, how to do media, how to do all
This is
these
a
things that I've
7-hour
done.
talk you gave?
60 minutes. It was so fast.
Then I told him how to meal prep. I walked him through my workout. Okay.
Oh, good. But no, it's like truly about like maximizing your impact and allowing like your voice to like be within your community, but also like how much the world needs our chiropractic philosophy and how much like the world is ready for it. And so if you can really step into these other platforms and infiltrate these other industries and media and things like that, like it is well received at this moment. People are so ready for it. And so it's like teaching them how to not necessarily step outside the profession, but to elevate the profession, to just like bring us all together, but also just like make more awareness of chiropractic and our philosophy and how we do things in a
So
really
it
good way.
wasn't all about Wanderlearn.
No. And then, oh, so the end of the talk, it was like how we are, like, we need to be pouring back into ourselves and being able to fill our cups and take time. And so the end of that talk was a pitch of like, hey, if you truly want to like be a good CEO, chiropractor, doctor, mother, take this time away and come on one of these retreats. Or if you feel like you have a following and you're ready for it, like this is a really good opportunity for you to make like a good chunk of money and have a free vacation. And so that was how I ended and wrapped up the talk, was like truly speaking to people of like filling up your cup, but then also like if you want to host, come host.
Yep.
Yeah.
What has been the most surprising thing in launching Wanderlearn?
Oh man. I think just how happy and healthy that I've been. Like truly, whenever I feel like I'm on purpose, it's been shocking. Like I went to like this restaurant opening of this like new Miami restaurant in Dallas, and like Dak Prescott was there and like all these like people, and it was like this huge party, and there was like free drinks all around, and I got my drink and I took a sip and I was like, this is like not, I don't want to be here. And I went there, like poured my drink like down the toilet because I like to have things in my hand. And like I went and I like spent another like 45 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna go work on my website. Like it was like a really interesting, like I feel like it was just like, okay, that's amateur Courtney. This is like pro Courtney, like where I'm stepping into. So like the most surprising thing was to like really step into like this new human that like this has created in me. So like that's been really, really surprising. But also like when whenever you're about to launch something, like you're terrified. You're like, are people gonna like this? Are they gonna sign
Oh
up? Is this
God.
like
Can we talk about
um
imposter syndrome?
oh
Did you have it?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that is a
So
huge misconception
terrified.
that people think that like you're, I don't know, at any point done with
Yeah.
it. And it's
Yeah.
like,
No,
no,
you're not.
there was like a story I heard forever ago about Garth Brooks when he did like this Central Park, um, I don't know, concert, and how he was like holed up in his hotel room for like a day and a half because he was
Yeah.
so filled with anxiety that nobody was going to come. And it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, so he still had like, okay,
He still
so
has
share with me. It's just us talking, nobody's listening. Talk to me
it.
about your imposter syndrome.
We record.
Right.
No, I was ready to like launch this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I had that like perfectionism, like mindset, things like that. And I was like, I just have to give it up. I have to give birth to this. Like, I know if I have it perfect, like I'll never do it. And so it was something I was like, I just have to put it out there. And I did a soft launch. I was like, the whole platform is not done. But here is like, and this is the concept of what I'm working on. Here's the new brand. Here's this. And like what surprised me is like how well received like it was. And I think like having friends like, in the chiropractic profession I've developed over the past year and a half, like they have reached out and they're like, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Like, I want to, like, this is so cool. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, is this like people like this? So, yeah, it was a true, like, I just have to get it out there. It does not have to be perfect. Like, just get the concept out there. And then once everything is done, that will be like a hard launch too. So it's just, it feels good to get it out there. Like, you don't have like a secret that you're working on anymore, but it's exciting for sure.
Yeah, I remember just having borderline crippling anxiety because
Yeah.
in the like hours that it's about to, okay, here
Yeah.
it is. And then it's just
Uh-huh.
like, do you like it? Because like you're so in your head for hours and hours and hours creating this thing. And you're like, I like this. I mean, the number of times Kirby or our not virtual assistant, but like my person who helped us create the course were like, you think this is good, right? And I'm like, I think this is great. And they're like,
Yeah.
then other people will. And I'm like, but what if they don't? What if they don't? Like I've poured
It's a
everything
vulnerability. It's
into
a
this.
level of vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, what if you're wrong? Like, what if people are like, no, this isn't good. And you're like, then like, how can you trust yourself? Because you're like, I think
Yeah. Exactly.
right. And this was the best I had. Like, this
Yep.
is this
Real.
is my thing. This is the thing that I think I'm here to like serve and help
Uh,
with. This is
yeah.
all of me. And then what if people are like, meh? And you're like, oh no.
Interested.
Okay, cool, cool,
Then
cool.
it's okay. It's not for them. Those right people will find you. And what I have found in business is it's all about consistency. It's about showing up with the same message and the same brand of what you love consistently and consistently doing that. And I think at some point, those people, your tribe will finally find you. And because you are speaking like your truth and your message. But yeah, it's definitely scary to be vulnerable whenever you're creating these projects and stuff.
Mm. Okay,
But,
so who is a perfect candidate to reach out and talk to you about a retreat?
Really anybody with a following. And so if you have a
How
program,
big of a following do you consider a following?
if you can bring 20 people, that like if you have 100 people and you know that 20 people love you so much, they'll come on a retreat, it's for you. And so it's definitely
Yeah, my
for
mom,
the
Kurt.
beauty. Yeah. I will tell you the beauty of this. Like I have these guys in Italy, they're about to make $100,000 retreat. I only say that
What
because
do you mean
if you
$100,000 retreat? Like,
If you yeah, if you have a high ticket item, a continuity, a coaching program, multi-passionate, like a program that you are selling at the end of 4 or 5 days with your following, with your people, 9 times out of 10, they will buy your program because they have had an emotional experience with you and they're ready to buy. You don't even have to pitch them. You can literally say, they are
oh, like use this as a
what
launch to a program.
not even a launch. It's sell. Like it can launch
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it can
Launch to sales.
a sales. Yeah. So it's like you sell an event at an event, you sell an item at an item. So they have this like huge weight loss thing that they are about to or they're doing, but it's like a 5 to 10,000 ticket item. And so they're taking 20 people. And so they're already making back in on the retreat about $15,000. And then they're gonna bring in an anti-aging expert, sell that program. And then at the end, they're gonna pitch their weight loss program. And then that's going to be a whole thing. So like they're calculating it out, and with their projections, it'll be $100,000. I'm like, whoa. So if you have if you have anything to sell or a program, it's a great platform for you to sell that, launch that, because people, and this is the psychology of selling. people, whenever they have an emotional experience with you, they don't even think whenever they're about to buy. They're like, yes, like that's, I had this emotional experience. I love you. I trust you. I want to be a part of whatever you're doing for the rest of your life.
All of She Slayers are going to be like super wary of my November retreat. They're like, uh-huh. And when does round 2 of the multi-passionate? Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh, huh. No, just come to Tulum. Just come. Oh my God.
Giving away all the secrets.
Oh, that's yeah. I'm an open book. I wish I'm terrible at secrets. I'm like, oh no, that's yeah. So, oh, okay. I love that. Love that a lot. I like you.
So it's opportunities for leaders and people. And then also corporations. Like that's been a really interesting thing for me to like see as like how needed it is for people who like EHR, softwares, laser companies, things like that. Like they want to do these things for their customers, so their chiropractors, give them CEs. But also like what this laser company is doing is if you buy a laser at the retreat, they're crediting what you paid for the retreat towards the laser. And so it's basically a free retreat. But if you're buying a laser, then that money goes towards the laser. So it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
need you to hit up SCED, PX, CLA. I need
Yeah.
those people to start a retreat because
That's
then I get to go.
hey, all those people come to retreats.
Hey, she's like sponsors. Maybe you should do a retreat so I can go. All right, love. Well, we will make sure that we have all of the links in
Okay.
by or in
I
all
have
the
one more thing I need to ask you.
what
So I'm hosting a Wanderlearn festival in Hawaii. So
is it
think
gonna
like
go better than
live.
the Fire Festival?
It'll go better than Fire Festival. I promise. We're already in negotiations with the best resort. And I would love for you to speak at our Wanderlearn Festival next October. So put that in your brain.
Okay. It's in
It's going to
Hawaii,
be
right?
like a blast. Yeah. It's going to be like surfing, paddleboarding, hiking, and CEs. And then we're going to have like a big beach party, live music, DJs every night. So
Oh
it'll
my,
be super fun.
sounds amazing. Well, you do things really, really well. So I have no doubt that it'll be awesome.
No Fire Festival, but
No Fire Festival. Oh, okay, love. I'm so happy for you. Like genuinely, just like I can tell that this is just such a heart-led thing from you. Like, and it's gonna be, I mean, it already is incredible in 2 months. So I'm
thank
just so proud of you. So proud
thank
of you.
you for just helping me with the launch too. It's so exciting. I really appreciate you so much.
Well, I am sure we will. You're gonna be at the WDC thing, right? In October? Will you? Oh
And
no.
that's in my Greece retreat is.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right. It was like, because I remember seeing that and being like, oh, wait a minute. I can't go to that. I'm
I
all
know.
right. Well,
Yeah,
we will
I'm
see each other
so
sometime.
many so hard to plan things. So yeah, I'll miss you there.
Okay. Well, until next week, She Slayers, go check this out. Go plan yourself a retreat. And I will see you next week. Bye.